I'm also pleased to announce that effective 25th May 2026, when we commemorate Africa Day, Ghana will commence a free visa regime for all Africans.
Ghana to become free visa for all Africans, effective 25th May 2026, on the day that we commemorate Africa Day.
On the second day of his three-day state visit to Ghana, President John Mahama welcomed Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa to Ghana's Camp David, the Pipiase Lodge. There were bilateral talks which had the tourism minister, the sports minister, the health minister, and other top government officials from both sides present. The bilateral talks culminated in the signing of memoranda of understanding in the areas of health, sports, tourism, and 7 other sectors.
I'm also pleased to announce that effective 25th May 2026, when we commemorate Africa Day, Ghana will commence a free visa regime for all Africans. Africans traveling to Ghana will receive their e-visas online free of charge. But between Ghana and Zimbabwe, in-laws, we have a visa-free environment already. You can travel to each other's countries without needing a visa. You just hop onto the plane and arrive in Harare or in Accra. As a cradle of Pan-Africanism, Ghana believes it has historic responsibility to remain open to Africans from across our continent. We are firmly of the view that African governments must accelerate the integration agenda for which Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah toiled and sacrificed. This visa-free policy forms part of our broader e-visa reform program, which government will roll out in May this year. Together, the e-visa and free visa initiatives are expected to advance Pan-Africanism, boost integration and tourism, and strengthen Ghana's attractiveness as an investment destination. Ladies and gentlemen, a major outcome of this state visit has been the signing of 10 memoranda of understanding across key sectors, including political and diplomatic consultations, energy, tourism, sports, trade and investment, archives, foreign service training, and waste management. These agreements reflect the breadth of our cooperation and the seriousness of our commitment to give practical meaning to the relations between our two countries.
Zimbabwe President Emmerson Mnangagwa thanked President Mahama and Ghana for supporting Zimbabwe in the push to lift Western sanctions imposed on the country. He congratulated Ghana for its advocacy, which resulted in the transatlantic slave trade being declared by the United Nations as a grievous crime against humanity.
Dear brother, to also express Zimbabwe's deep gratitude to Ghana for your steadfast support in calling for the unconditional removal of the unjust, illegal, unilateral sanctions imposed on us by some stupid Western countries for more than 2.5 decades. Despite the albatross of these illegal and inhuman sanctions, Zimbabwe remains resilient, scoring unprecedented development and economic milestones across all sectors, in spite of the sanctions. Your Excellency and my dear brother, may I commend you for Ghana's leadership in advancing historical justice, particularly through the recently adopted United Nations General Assembly resolution, which recognizes the transatlantic trafficking of enslaved Africans and the system of racialized enslavement as the gravest crime against humanity. Congratulations.
President John Dramani Mahama, John Ababio, John the joy giver. John, he gives the hope. Now, this conversation is getting interesting. Why am I saying this? There are two different schools of thought, and today, we walk through. Then you tell me which one you belong to. There are those who believe that this is a bad move, especially considering Nigerians, Igbo kingdom, prostitutes being arrested, scammers being arrested, kidnappers being arrested. So you continue with that same step. Now you heard Nigerians, the jihadists for ene omo akuni pa baku eta na omo goto tomatoes about Ghana. No, they don't think it's a good move. It will allow people to enter to the country and destroy the peace, the security, the tranquility, the progress that our economy is getting. Now, there's other school of thought that also believes, which are some parts, this visa free for Africans will also allow Ghana as a country to be able to harbor these investors who John Dramani Mahama in his visit to Singapore, China, Japan, Dubai was preaching to them that Ghana, investing in Ghana, you can actually send your products, your services and goods to all the 54 countries in Africa. But if we don't have that agreement yet, how then do we do that? How then do we do the business? Don't forget, John Dramani Mahama have just invoked the spirit of our ancestors when he demanded for reparation at the UN. And that transatlantic slave trade to be the gravest crime against humanity. John Dramani Mahama being nominated by the African states to go and speak on behalf of African leaders. If we are all seeing John Dramani Mahama uniting Africa, do you think it's a bad step for him to use this opportunity to get Ghana to have investors that will know that investing in Ghana is serving 1.4 billion population in Africa, so that Ghana become a center and a hub for a business area? And I say, will you also care about the security and the safety of Ghanaians, so that we don't have intruders from other African countries who comes here with no good intention and flooding our market already? Your Chinese Nigerians who are already doing retail business in Ghana here. Which school of thought do you believe in? Should we consider security, safety, and shun this free visa for all Africans, or should we choose development? Should we choose investors, business opportunities, job opportunities, and economic recovery and economic gains from investors now making asele for the over 1.4 billion of African population now, using the free visa for all Africans now? Should we choose that one? Now tell me, but before that, let me read something from the Foreign Affairs Minister, who together with the President, John Dramani Mahama, my president, your president, and our president, His Excellency John Ababio, John the Joy Giver, after say or declare this particular milestone, Ghana, everything. I say President John Dramani Mahama has today announced that the government of Ghana has decided to introduce a free visa regime for all Africans who wish to visit Ghana. The new policy takes effect on May 25th, a day which is commemorated as Africa Day. President Mahama made the declaration during the inaugural state visit of President Emerson Mnangagwa of Zimbabwe to Ghana. Ghana seeks to consolidate its credentials as the cradle of Pan-Africanism, even as it expects a major boost in tourism. What Ghanaians will stand to benefit. Ghana seeks to consolidate its credentials as the cradle of Pan-Africanism. Yes, we know Kwame Nkrumah, the father of Pan-Africanism, the friends, and then the African Millennium Man, and John Dramani Mahama, the reincarnated friend said John Kwame Nkrumah, and the message is clear: the same Pan-Africanism, the same spirit, the same idea, the same posture of Kwame Nkrumah, and yet but to also benefit, even as it expects a major boost in tourism and intra-African trade by the groundbreaking reform. The free visa for Africans will be a component now of a new e-visa policy the Mahama administration is launching next month. Now, this e-levy, say, one of the African countries so far, also practicing via Rwanda. Rwanda, say no, ugo do Rwanda, ana ubenya visa. And the visa now ubenya all the necessary checks, the security checks, I say a screening, and who say there's no danger, you are not coming with any harm, you are safe to come to the country. You have a number of days that you can stay. You have to state your reasons. All of these channels you go through, where any free border state, though, is something that most Africans have been yearning for. Like if you go to Europe, where the movement is free, or be able to match for train from France to Germany, Germany to UK, UK to Italy, Italy to Spain. They be and this even though some Africans believe that at some point we have to consider that. And this our USA, all the states have the free movement to move around and about. But even in the North American Mexico, the like of Canada, does not have that free access to the United States of America. You know, Asia continent is not like that. There were different reasons. Africa, together as a continent, agree on the free border movement. But then, if at least the movement to different African countries a bit smoother, accessing visa a bit easier, then it encourages people to travel more. Remember, it was through education and boarding school education in Ghana. And a man among Fasha who said, no. I said we are extreme tribalistic. Because whatever we think about ourselves, say the Ashantis idea about the Northerners ideas about the Ashantis, the Votarians ideas about the Ashantis idea about the Votarians. A true working relationship, education relationship, political relationship, they will say, no. We are almost the same. There's just different in some small culture, identity, and tradition. But in all, we are the same. So if there's that kind of opportunity, a bit to travel among ourselves, then there can be that growing of friendship. There can be that expansion. Then there can be that discussion. Then the next leaders that will be born out of this cordial relationship. This is my honest naked truth. Ebetimi abua amayenya the Africa that will be borderless, the Africa that can unite, the Africa that will achieve that Kwame Nkrumah dream. No, for me, I think John Dramani Mahama is doing well with this. So, this new e-visa policy, the Mahama administration is launching next month. President Mahama also assured that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will continue with its international and determined effort at securing more visa waiver agreement for Ghanaian passport holders. Since last year, 23 visa waiver agreements have been negotiated for Ghanaians, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister. And imagine, say Ghana passports, me anyone travel to 54 different African countries. Now, at the same time, they can travel to your country. Now, we already have 23, which are non-African countries. Like our South Korea, Antigua, Barbuda, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, many more. And we are still choosing to get more. John Dramani Mahama have still instructed the Foreign Affairs Minister, you are not stopping. Don't stop. Keep on going. Make sure you attain more for the country, because we want the Ghanaian passport to be one of the best passports. So Ukuta, your access to different countries, a bit easy. And this is also the reason why our cyber crime security are making sure they clamp down on cyber crimes. And they be because sometimes some things are systematic. You don't get it. This is also the reason why your foreign affairs minister, everyone is no foreigner is supposed to get our passport. Said be obey you dia kodi bone. Into some Nigerians and where's ano, yetiwa the punishment will be so great. Wangasa na otiwa because yeah, but we koye boni we koye den. The same way we are making sure they don't register with our Ghana card as locals. So a system, some things are passing through the system, we don't get it. And that's the same way. This free visa for all Africans will be able to help our 24-hour economy to prosper as early as possible. Remember the big push, the roads are being done to stand still and tall for 24-hour economy to kickstart. When is it going to start? The 24-hour economy, industries, factories starting and easy if you don't put the right system in place. And John Dramani Mahama, the president, already promised us, and you have said that countless times, said he is coming to create the system where the private businessmen will create the business. And the system, they say, have good rules. Make sure there's a market availability here. When they provide the goods, they can sell. Now, you have 1,500 transformers. And Accra, Greater Accra, must I say, install transformers. New meters. To make sure say, they are light and they are street light. Working in the night, they won't be afraid. And there will be better electricity here. They will not fear for power outage. And all these things are systems. So if you don't pay attention and watch what the government is doing systematically, you might be thinking nothing's going on. But trust me, something great is cooking. Now, for God and country and continent, this is the message of the Foreign Affairs Minister about Ghana, a free visa for all African countries. Now, according to the Foreign Affairs Minister, after seeing this post by now, say controversies in our media can outline it. Say some are crying about our security and safety. Some are crying, say, if we are not careful, this can delay our progress because now there are few rising countries in Africa. Ghana, Senegal, Rwanda, South Africa, and few others. Morocco, Egypt, Tunisia. Say, you are not careful because you allow all this free movement because we are still not matured enough in terms of democracy, in terms of development, in terms of who we want to be. You allow for this distraction. Now, different ideologies, different environments, all of a sudden, say a person you're coming together as one. It might cause the other countries who are already jacking off to start falling down. And this are some, you think about it, it's legitimate concern. But the Foreign Affairs Minister seek to address this. And pay attention and listen to very carefully. Facts about Ghana new free visas for African policy, as announced by President Mahama. Africa will not pay visa fees, number one. Number two, not paying visa fee does not mean you will not go through visa screening. Africans will still have to go through a visa application process like everyone else. Just that theirs will be gratis. 3, government is also introducing an e-visa policy next month. It is the same next month that we are giving the free visa for all Africans. That same next month, the free Africans said the e-visa policy is starting. It means you need visa on arrival if you are coming to Ghana. Now, 4, the free visa for Africans is a component of the e-visa initiative. 5, all applicants, including Africans, will have to apply for visas through the e-visa platform. 6, the novel e-visa system shall be linked to Ghana's newly established PNR system and other international crime database, which allows our consular officers to check background of applicants and provide appropriate vetting to ensure Ghana's security is not compromised. Now, this point sounds refreshing, sounds certifying. At the same time, looking at Africa and our data system, I doubt all the criminals are going to be booked. There are some criminals who have not been arrested yet, especially if you consider Nigeria, for example. There are some people who are kidnappers, scammers, who have not been arrested, and their name is not in any list. So if they decide to come to Ghana, their data is still clean. So yes, you might be able to uproot some of the hardened criminals that have already been brought to books, but is it all of them? I doubt. 7, people with criminal or deemed unsatisfactory records will not be admitted into Ghana, which for me is also refreshing. Now 8, not paying visa fee is not the same as automatic entry into Ghana. There shall be no automatic and unvetted entries. You apply, you go through all the necessary process, you are just not going to pay. And not adequate investment have made by the Ministries of Foreign Affairs, the Interior and Transport to ensure a robust and technological advanced architecture is in place. 10, for clarity though, former President Nana Akufo-Addo announced a free visa for Africans policy in 2024 that could not commence because the mechanism and security safeguards had not yet been put in place. As President Mahama indicated yesterday, Ghana is now ready to launch an e-visa platform for all applicants across the world and a free visa for Africans. Policy from Africa Day, which is May 25th, 2026, fully anchored on appropriate security and technological framework. I may wish you all a happy Easter. For God, country, and continent. Foreign Affairs Minister, we also wish you happy Easter. And to all my cherished viewers, I wish you happy Easter. Now, do you have a proper understanding from how it is developed as a system, from how the previous administration have been acknowledged, say they started the process but couldn't complete, and how John Dramani Mahama have completed that, and to how this is going to help boost our economy, and also plans to make sure that our security is still tight. And also, the most important explanation, free visa entries does not mean that you are not going to acquire visa. You are just going to have a free visa that you are not paying for, but you are going to go through the screening, all the proper checks you go through. Now, after hearing all this explanation and reading from the Foreign Affairs Minister and my thoughts, and I know you have your thoughts, Jane na Okafa, John Dramani Mahama, John Ababio, John Kwame Nkrumah, John the Joy Giver, the announcement of Africa, Ghana to become free visa for all Africans effective 25th May 2026 on African Day, which is on the May 25th. What is your take? Are you feeling safe? Are you happy about the move? Because you can also travel very soon to other countries. Tell me in the comment section who you are. Subscribe, like, na shemonia, enyabi enre. Edino, eba kupe Maxi, Billian. I will naked truth with Oldboga trends. Macro, bye bye.